Chelsea paid £97.5 million to sign Romelu Lukaku from Inter Milan by selling off 9 players in 2021. Chelsea may have thought that when they had agreed to pay a club record £97.5 million fee to sign Romelu Lukaku from Inter Milan, they were finally getting the striker they had so desperately craved. The Blues had to raise funds by selling off 9 players, with some wheeling and dealing done by Marina Granovskaya, only for the deal to turn pear-shaped when Lukaku was frozen out just 10 months later. Now the striker is on loan at AS Roma and his Chelsea career is as good as over, but what happened to the 9 players who were sacrificed to make way? Express Sport gives you the lowdown on where they are now. Tammy Abraham £34 million. Given that Abraham had been frozen out under Thomas Tuchel for the second half of the 2020-21 campaign, it was seen as a coup that they were able to extract a huge fee from AS Roma for the England international. There was a tinge of regret, though, when the towering striker struck 24 goals in all competitions in his debut season with the Giallorossi. Since then, the 25-year-old's form has been more patchy and an ACL injury has kept him sidelined for several months. But given the money Chelsea have spent since, his departure may have been misguided, especially after Lukaku's nightmare spell led him to joining Abraham as his teammate at the Stadio Olimpico. Fikayo Tomori £26 million. Another Cobham graduate who was left on the periphery of the first team under Frank Lampard and Tuchel. Tomori certainly made the right call in switching from the Premier League for Serie A after a successful loan spell. The Rossoneri paid only £26 million, a bargain in the current market for a centre-back of his quality, and the 25-year-old is thriving. There have been calls for Tomori to be given a bigger role in the England squad, with the Canadian-born man a regular for his club in the Italian top flight and playing in the Champions League. Chelsea fans wanted him back after last season's turbulent campaign. But he is happy enough with life in Milan. Marc Guehi £20 million. It just keeps getting worse as far as Chelsea are concerned. Selling Guehi for £20 million to Crystal Palace in 2021 when he hadn't even made a single Premier League appearance may have looked like good business at the time, but there was always a likelihood he would shine elsewhere. In the space of 2 years, the young centre-back has become a key player for the Eagles and has won 3 caps under Gareth Southgate. The fact Chelsea were among the clubs linked with a £60 million swoop this summer, along with Arsenal and Manchester United, says everything about how they let him go too cheaply. Tino Livramento £5 million, rising to £20 million. Southampton made a quick buck at Chelsea's expense after handing Livramento a starting berth when he was just 18 in Ralph Hasenhüttl's side by agreeing a £5 million deal. He had caught the eye with his displays before a serious knee injury disrupted his progress at the end of the 2021-22 season. However, Chelsea were at least smart enough to include a 40% sell-on clause that guaranteed them a huge chunk of any future fee if Livramento left St Mary's. And when Newcastle paid £32 million for the fullback in July, they earned around £15 million of the total fee to put towards Todd Boehly's sales. Kennedy £8.5 million. It's easy to forget that Kennedy was actually a regular under José Mourinho at one stage in his career after arriving from Fluminense for £7 million 8 years ago. The winger has shown promise early in his career but never quite kicked on at Stamford Bridge. An array of loan spells followed as he was carted off to clubs such as Watford, Newcastle and Granada, before finally leaving Chelsea permanently in July 2022. Now 27, he is plying his trade in the Spanish second tier with Real Valladolid, co-owned by Brazil icon Ronaldo. Victor Moses £4.5 million. Few could forget how Moses rose from the ashes of the Chelsea loan system after being handed a second chance by Antonio Conte in 2016. Before being transformed into one of the best wing-backs in the country. But when the Italian left in 2018, Moses fell out of favor and loans to Fenerbahce and Inter Milan failed to earn him a permanent exit. At last, he finally settled at a club with Spartak Moscow after sealing a £4.5 switch in 2021, and the Nigeria winger still resides in the Russian capital, scoring once in 8 games this season. Lewis Bate £1.5 million. After choosing to leave Chelsea behind for a new challenge with Leeds United. It hasn't quite worked out for Bate at Elland Road. The youngster, now 20, has been used predominantly in their under-23 development squad and has struggled to break through. The midfielder has also watched younger talents such as Archie Gray get first-team action, while he has been limited to a solitary minute in the Carabao Cup against Shrewsbury Town. And it's safe to say Chelsea got the better end of the deal so far. Dynel Simu £1.5 million. Much like Bate, Simu decided to take the leap in search of more first-team opportunities after finding his path blocked at Chelsea, but hasn't reaped the rewards. Despite signing for the South Coast outfit over 2 years ago, Simu is yet to make his competitive debut for the Saints, as the 21-year-old has spent time on loan with Carlisle and Tranmere in League Two and Morecambe in League One.